All right, so let's talk about those first impressions. One of the very first impressions is your building, and it's the outside of your building. It's your front door. It is your curb appeal. You remember that the clients are, they're looking for a place that they think meets their expectation. So if you want them to see you as a home-like environment or academic or that you are modern, all of these are part of that first impression. So let's take a look at some before and after pictures of buildings. Now, these are dentist offices, but that's beside the point because I want you to look at their fronts and their differences. The before picture was a brick building. Again, there's nothing really wrong with this, but you need to ask yourself what it is that you're trying to convey to the client. So the after image is a cleaner look. If you notice by the front door, there are planters, there are lighting. Again, they're trying to convey a different message to the client, and they're trying to get their attention. So here is a child care center, and if you notice on the upper left-hand side, they still had their Christmas twinkly lights. They had a railing that was very closed in, and it was cute. And if that was what you were looking for, and you were looking for to give them the impression that you're kind of like, hi, you're coming to grandma's, then that before picture is exactly what you're looking for. However, this program had a new owner, and they were looking to really become an innovative program. Well, innovation does not necessarily to a lot of people mean, hi, I'm cutesy. I am your wraparound front porch. So they brought it to a much more modern look. And from here, they were able to reach their client and send the best first impression. I also want to talk a little bit about walkways. If you look at the walkway at the front, it was grass, and then there were some steps. The revised picture actually had a more modern feel in the walkway and the walkway and the steps up to the house. Don't forget holidays. Holidays are a great opportunity for you to play with. What does your front porch, your curb appeal, what does it look like? And you know what? Fall is a great time to include pumpkins. Flowers are great to be included all year round. And so don't forget lighting as you get into the different times of the year. If you are in a location where it is dark before you close or dark before you open, make sure that there's appropriate lighting by the front door, in the parking lot, on the walkway to your front door. We want to make sure that everybody feels safe. Here's another opportunity to look at a before and after. Again, they're going for a homey look. I wanted to make sure that you saw the difference between having both of these are set with some native plants for that community, but we've got a walkway where somebody took care of it. And then we have a walkway that's looking a little sketchy. So you want to make sure, again, you've got that first impression piece. Another part of your first impression is what does it look like? What does your signage look like? How do things look? What are you telling people? So here is a sign that a daycare used. So again, think about what kind of wording you're looking for. Are you a private preschool? Are you a child care center? Are you a early learning school? That all needs to be conveyed in your messaging. And then they've obviously had a change in their hours. I don't know what their hours were before, but now on the sign, their hours go from 5:30 a.m. to midnight. So they've made that change, and they made it with different coloring and different paint. So again, if you can, remember, this is a first impression. So what are you saying to your clients if you're having to make your sign yourself versus using a professional sign company, which is most likely what your landlord will require. So again, sometimes we see buildings that might give confusing messages or mixed messages. Nothing terribly wrong with this building, but the only place for the signage of this building is that teeny tiny sign on the lower right side, the Children's Learning Center. Again, things are not really to scale, so they've got some baskets. They were trying to use those baskets. You can't really see the flag. So again, those flower baskets should be bigger. They should probably not use the porch for storage. However, if they don't need the porch or they don't have a use for the porch, because again, in this case, the porch is strictly cosmetic, it might be worth working with a realtor, or not a realtor, an architect and a contractor, and talk about maybe closing that space up and actually making it storage, or perhaps putting up some screens or plexiglass frosted windows, and maybe it's a place for staff as a staff break room. So again, Rosie's Romper Room, we've got a couple of different versions of siding. First of all, take a look at this parking lot. This parking lot definitely is not sending the best first impression. I know as an owner that sometimes you don't really have any say over the parking lot, but you can ask. So if you haven't asked your landlord to resurface and restripe, then maybe that's what you need to do. But definitely remember that your clients are making a decision on your program based on something as simple as your parking lot. We have a couple of different logos here. One might have been a newer logo, one might have been an older logo. We had the 3 R's up at the top, Rosie's Romper Room, in red, green, and blue. And then on the side of the road, we've got little people and a house and Rosie's Romper Room and the website. So there's a lot going on. When you're driving by, there is too much for people to get. So if you want to include the name, and your name and your website are identical, just include the website. So if the little people in the house are part of the logo, it would have been much better for Rosie's Romper Room to have had the people and the picture to be kind of its primary, and then Rosie's Romper Room all in the one color.com as basically a way for its name. You've heard me talk about sidewalks, driveways, parking lots. Again, think about the safety of not only the families that are coming in, their cars, the kids. It's a horrible first impression, so please fix the cracked and uneven, make it smooth, make it bright. Again, make it inviting. Planters. I love real plants, but you know what? If you can't because of the time of year or the conditions in your community, you know what? That's okay. But the planters also don't have to be permanent. So these planters are concrete planters. They're not going anywhere, but they're not permanent. They're not attached to the building. So if they leave this program, the owner of the building can remove them and use them for something else. This is their way of taking what had been a very plain, simple warehouse style building and giving it some 3-dimension with the cantilever top there by the door. So you're very clear, hey, this is the door. And you kind of get a feel of more of a classic modern, but yet friendly with the softer plants. Again, if you want color and you're trying to make them feel like this is a fun place to go, we've got planters, and in the planters, they've added pinwheels. And what you can't really tell there is that this particular week at this particular program, they were doing Under the Sea. And so I believe that that is a jellyfish hanging there by the door. So again, have some fun with your space. Again, another warehouse type of situation. So remember that your first impression is key. The other thing that was really nice at this location is that the program does have kind of a little information box there. So if somebody happened to pull up after hours, there is a place for them to grab information on the program. And 5, temporary signs, banners, flags. keep them up for a limited time. So if you're now hiring, now enrolling, make sure that they're short and make sure they're in good shape. Black and white is fine. Red and yellow is fine. 2 colors are great for these kinds of signs and banners. But again, leave them up for a couple of weeks and take them down. If you are now enrolling for your toddler room, try to be a little clear. Now enrolling, two-year-olds, toddlers, whatever term you might want to use, and then a phone number. Have them call you, or if you want them to go to your website to schedule a tour, make sure you have the website. Give them a call to action. Don't put too many words. Don't leave it up forever, because if it's there all the time, people are going to tune it out. All right, we will be back.